Oh dearie me, there appears to be more PCs in my room. And it's not very good to see, but I basically have 2 more PCs. Some remember this is the quantum microopponents I just did a video on. That's to be sat there still. I don't think it's the power supply anymore, thinking on. I need to strip that out still. Here's the first PC though, just while I jump ahead. They were on eBay at 99 pence a PC, and you could get combined postage. They were advertised as being in office condition, which basically means they're knackered. Or the cases are, or were. Could be, will be, who knows. This is missing its front panel completely. I've took the heatsink off for the minute. This was jammed in something akin to that. All the pegs are messed up. There's the 3 blanking plates. Now what's annoying is on the photograph it did have the cover with it. They've took it off and not included it in the sale, which is kind of annoying. I think it was hanging off by the cables, and that is annoying. However, I can work with it like this, dented, not that you can see it, there we go. It's a socket 478 Pentium 4, if some of you guessed by the heatsink. 2 gig DDR1 333 MHz RAM with what looks to be a GeForce 6200 graphics card, AGP model. This unit, which I shall now move up, I'm just sort of working on them, is an older Pentium 2. The side panel isn't fitted, it's still loose. I don't know if this has been some sort of server, maybe, back in the day. You know, they've bought just a regular Pentium 2 and just used it as a server. It's got some moss. It looks like moss, somewhat damp. Well, not damp, but dirty and grubby on it. And the side panel's just fallen off, so you can have a look in this one. Pretty dusty, not been used for a long while. Sparkle 200 watt, is it? 235 watt power supply. Vintage 24 speed CD-ROM. I'm really gonna have to try. Can you buy commercial retro bright? Like in a pen or a Tipex kind of style, dab it on, or do you have to mix it yourself? I should really look into that if anybody has a bit of experience, because even the Scorpio could really do with some of it. It looks whiter than it is. It's nowhere near like this yellow, that's for sure. I have had one of the RAM chips out, couldn't tell what it was, probably 32 or 64 meg. I believe it's a Pentium 2 at 333 MHz. It's nice and clean, a nice Intel board. You can see the dust that's on it. The few marks that are clean is where I thumbed out the graphics card earlier, which is an a.k.a. Rage 2 plus DVD model. And then this card, which has a is an external SCSI port, and then on the bottom, which is kind of hard to see, there's the SCSI port there. The bottom we have an ISA NIC with BNC RJ45 and the RS232 or whatever style, for the serial style or whatever it was. And your standard bit. Nice and dusty, nice and dusty. Dusty is nice. We have I like this on these old Intel units. If you buy like Intel boards, they usually give you this sticker, which was cool. Someone at the door. Be right. Abrupt cutoff is abrupt cutoff. It was just my cousin dropping off some stuff. But yeah, they have these stickers normally, which is cool. The other cool thing, which I mentioned briefly, is these. That I'd got them on the video for the quantum microponents. I say these when I only show one. Two brand new, still in cellophane. You can't really, there's a reflection. a.k.a. power supplies. £8 a piece. So that was 16 for the two, and then it was a further £8 postage, so it was 24. Now they do have a web address on them, so I don't know how old they are. I know they're at least 10 years old. Well, they've got to be, really. Unless they were still selling these for PCs of the time. There's the basic specs. There's the requirements. Emphasis on the bottom requirement. You know, because what else would you be using a PC power supply for besides some form of PC? Now, I will be stripping out the QM machine. Moreover, I don't know, I'm not so much stripping it out. I don't know. I need to really examine and look at the board because the power supply seems to give off no power. However, that could be the board's problem. I do have, I think, one or two other AT style boards. Now, if the power supply is bad, it could kill the other board. It's always a risk you've got to take. If it turns out the board is bad, then obviously the power supply would be just fine. I don't actually have any other AT boards though down at the moment, so it's on hold. But right now, I'm gonna turn this on. Not on video though, I'm doing other stuff. This is just whilst I'm here. And see what's happening. Oh, and as an update, I've had my... Just see the little beige box down here, well, with the fan on the back. That's the Amstrad PC4 386SX machine. Well, we had a power cut last night, and it lasted for a good 3 or 4 hours. About 3 hours, can't remember. But either way, I had nothing better to do, so I stripped it down under torchlight. I found out it's a 20 megahertz machine. It has 4 meg of RAM in 4 physical chips, but I knew it had 4 meg of RAM from boot up. But I can't do anything because I still need a keyboard. Hint, hint, internet. And it has an 80 megabyte hard drive, which was a bugger to bloody get to at first. It's a Sony drive as well. Floppy drive. There is space for a 5 1/4 floppy drive connector anyway, but there is not physically the space in the case. But I could hook one up with some clever jiggery pokery because it doesn't use a standard ATX power supply or an AT power unit. It uses the small custom connections. In fact, the floppy disk drive uses the single sort of all-in-one ribbon cable design that the old Macintosh unit I had, the PowerMax 7100 or whatever it was that I had. So that was always interesting. But that's just a quick update on what I've been doing and what I'm sort of doing. Usual, rate, comment, subscribe. Any questions, just ask.